The culture of wood. A poem about the way it used to be by the poet Laurie E. How many times have I told you it's your turn to get the wood? So take your feet off of the oven door and finally do some good. You get off your lazy butt, put on your boots and socks, go to the woodshed, get an armload and fill up the old wood box. So a sultry lad just in from the cold, who wanted only to warm his feet, left with a grimace face to the woodshed and bid a fast retreat. The wood box stood beside the stove next to the hot water tank, adjacent to the teapot from which the old folks daily drank. It held the wood fuel that supplied the family's meals and heat, and the oven door was the best place to warm those poor cold feet. The stove had no auto refiller like the modern natural gas pipeline. Someone daily had the job to fill the wood box and get it done by bedtime. When Papa spoke late and loudly, you had no reason to rejoice, for someone probably missed their chores, which was delegated to the boys. And someone had to spend some time administering 100 whacks by splitting those hardwood stove wood chunks with a double-bitted axe. And lastly, you took the softwood pieces and split the kindling at the chopping block with a little hatchet and placed the kindling on the newspaper by the old wood box. Before supper, when the kids came in from the frigid pond's afternoon skate, grab a chair, a piece of wood on the oven door. Ah, those poor cold feet couldn't wait. On Saturday night before bedtime, the item that we really got to thank was the bathtub's hot water that came from the wood stove's covered tank. And the copper stovetop tub with the handles was later fed into the pool, where Mother carried it to the bathroom when the bath water began to cool. You needed both furnace and stovewood types, the softwood and the hard. They'd start by cutting down the trees and transporting them to the yard. The softwood often came from the sawmills, slabs cut into stovewood size, but it needed to be split and cross-piled into rows and left there till it dried. Some of the hardwood was sawn and split into 4-foot furnace length. Cross-piling that oak and maple took almost all of a young man's strength. We remember that wonderful odor of the smoldering hardwood smell when somebody lifted the stovetop cover and into it another piece just fell. And on the stovepipe back, to keep it warm, the oval hot iron always sat. On laundry day, Mum would insert the handle and iron our clothes with that. Above the stovetop, the upper oven was there to keep our dessert and supper hot, and the damper was adjusted. So we got exactly what we got. Part of the family's annual cash flow was included in the yearly plan how much the fire would cost and could they find it close at hand. There are a number of independent cultures that humanity has withstood. They include today's culture of oil, once of coal. We survived the culture of wood. The evidence that most of mankind's needs Mother Nature did provide was when the wisps of smoke from the kitchen chimney rose into the skies.
Once I was a slave at the sawmill. Talk about a poor boy, talk about a poor boy, never saw a dollar bill. My work was so hard at the sawmill. Think about a poor boy, think about a poor boy, when you go to write your will.
I hope you enjoyed my poem, The Poet Laurie E.